I'm Abby. I deal with the financials and all of the money and things like that. This is Vanessa, and she's our lovely creative of the group, so she does most of the market research and figuring out what's the best next flavor to come out. This is Ishmael. He takes care of our website and marketing designs. And this is Candice, and she does our supply chain management. So she takes care of literally buying all our product and talking to all of our suppliers. So Bliss Fizz, just to give you a little bit of a storyline background of us, we started in Business 201, and that was last January, so January 2015. We ran a 6-week timeline. I know you guys are doing 5 weeks, and we donated to Dogs with Wings. So the 5 of us, Amrita, who is not with us today, due to some personal circumstances, but we 5 of us met in that class, and we came up with the idea, and we decided to run with it. And we're about a year later now, and we're still doing it, and we're selling product in the bookstore, also doing direct selling with people, so having people come up to us asking us for product, and we take care of it that way. But I'll give it off to everybody, and they can tell a little about them and their experience that they had.
Okay, so as Abby said, I take care of production. Basically, we all make them. We used to make them in my basement, but I moved, so now we don't really have a space to make anything as of right now. But me and Candice, when we first brought the idea of bath bombs up, the guys were like, "A bath bomb? What is that?" So yeah, like Candice said, guys, don't be scared of the bath bomb. Guys can take baths too. But yeah, we got some interesting flavors coming up in production, but right now we just have the 5, right? Yeah, so we got tangerine bergamot, we have lavender vanilla, we have a shower bomb actually, and it's eucalyptus flavored, so if you're kind of stuffed up, you throw it in your shower, and it'll help like decongest you, I guess, so guys, you can definitely use that one. We had a mellow yellow, which I do want to bring back because we got rid of that one, and a cookie dough, and I think, oh, and peppermint, yeah.
Hey guys, my name is Ishmael, as you guys know, as I was introduced by Avi. I'm responsible primarily for the marketing aspect of our team, and as Avi mentioned, the design, coming up with the logo, which we all kind of had a pitch in, but then in terms of actually working on it on Photoshop and getting all the metrics in, it was, we all had discussions. I think for you guys in this type of class and in the time that you have as students, use your marketing skills to your advantage when it comes to your business, because it can really set the tone for what level you want to take your business towards. Without us consistently discussing and having group meetings weekly or even bi-weekly, I don't think we would have even went up to the level that we had achieved. We set goals for ourselves, sales goals and targets every week, and we were able to meet them. And I feel like if you guys have that drive and willingness as young entrepreneurs, you guys can do the same thing, and if not, do better and achieve the same or similar results.
All right, this is my favorite part, obviously. I'm definitely the person that's behind the scenes. I definitely love being behind the phone because you can't tell what a person looks like when you're talking on the phone, so I don't have to worry about people judging me. Right, so I'm in charge of supply chain. So I basically have more money than everybody else here, so I pay for everything and I talk to suppliers. Yeah, so my experience with these guys was awesome. It's been a year and a half in the making. I don't know if we mentioned it yet, but our bath bombs are available in the bookstore. You can also find us in school. Unlike the people that clearly aren't in class today, we do come to school, and you can find us and ask us for any orders anytime. If you're nice to me and buy me a beer, I might give you one for free. So see you in Towers, I guess, right? But anyway, that's all I have to say.
So I just wanted to mention, I know that some of you may be thinking about continuing your business on beyond the Mission Possible and things like that. So some of the things and struggles and challenges that we've come up with in the last little while, I think is really important to touch on, is that the actual business part of things is going out and getting your business license, registering your business, making sure that you're covered on, your insurance fronts and things like that. Those are things that you should really think about in the cost-benefit analysis of doing those. Another big challenge is initial funding to get you up and running. There is a few things that are coming down the pipeline at McEwen, and I think eventually it'll be really good to start your businesses with. But Enactus has been really good with helping us, talking with Leo and a few other influential people at McEwen to kind of guide us. A lot of it has been mentorship and where we can get them, and talking to other business owners and getting out and networking and understanding what's going on. And if you're running a cosmetic, any type of cosmetic product, you have to submit forms to Health Canada. We learned this from one of our suppliers like a year and a half later. So when you're planning on continuing on a business, definitely it takes a lot of research and a lot of mentorship from other people, because as you're getting through university, we're learning, and each of our roles are changing and developing as we're going. Because as I initially started doing what Ishmael was doing with all the marketing and doing the posters and stuff like that. I transferred that. I took over the money. Vanessa was doing all the production and stuff, but now she's majoring in marketing, so we're going to move the marketing over here. So it's really, we're just tailoring everything to everybody's niche and what they're good at and who's good at what administration roles. So I think it should be a pretty good process, and we're excited to see where Bliss Fizz goes in the future.
Maybe I can ask, there's a question that one of the people in class had. You were talking about Health Canada and the requirements to list your materials. What are your products all natural?
We wanted to make a product that was safe for not only the environment but for your body as well. So everything we use is food grade quality. We use coconut oil in our bath bombs. We use cornstarch, citric acid, and just like regular food dye that you can buy at the supermarket. But yeah, everything is natural. It's safe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'd say about 100% of them is natural.
So another question that we had was, where do you get your supplies? So on the supply chain side, who's your supplier?
So we really wanted to find a company that was a small local business, because we believe in supporting small local businesses, because we are one as well. So we found this place called Creations of Eden. It's in the West End, and they're a great supplier, and that's where we get the majority of our essential oils. That's where we get our stuff from. The rest is a secret.
I just wanted to touch on citric acid. Sounds a little bit scary. It's just another way of saying lemon juice. It's dehydrated lemon juice.
So in terms of maybe in the last year, so we have a couple of questions about sales. How have your sales, what type of sales are you doing? And maybe some of the, are you making a profit? Those type of things. I think, how viable do you think this is?
So we took a hiatus for a little while just so we could plan out and set our goals and come back refreshed a little bit. So we took the summer off just because it was crazy. Business 201 is crazy class. There's lots of stuff going on. Running a business is also very crazy. So we took 4 months off to come back refreshed and come to the table and go, all right, we're ready to continue on. That's when all of the background stuff started. So we started doing our business, like licensing and getting registered, setting out what our roles were. And that's when we also started talking with Leo and the bookstore and getting everything set up. We rolled our product in the bookstore on February 22nd. I'm waiting for the first check to come in actually this week. Yep. And so it'll be good to see. They are providing us sales metrics on how our product did, how we sold. We've been replenishing the shelves and facing the shelves ourselves. They did set up like a very much a feature display for about a couple weeks, and then they moved us to a front-facing shelf. And the sales product has been moving, but pretty slow in the last few weeks, but that's because of finals, and we've been pretty busy on pushing the product. We worked on a lot of things, was changing our packaging to make them store ready, because before, while we were in the project, we were running, it was like paper bags, and we had things like that. But the thing is, when you are selling direct, that's great. People can take the bags home and take their bath bombs out and then recycle the rest. Where we are sitting on the shelf now, and the one thing about coconut oil is that it can become liquid at room temperature, so it does seep just a little bit, and the paper bags were looking like deep fried bags. So like when you take fries home in a paper bag or fish and chips, it just kind of looked like not cute at all. So that was another thing for us. So sales-wise, I'm still waiting on some numbers to come back. We haven't put too much, I would say, of our own money so far into the business. We're just kind of running as a production as we need to do it. So as sales come in, we produce as sales go up. So you fill out a form, or there's an order form, an inventory form, and then we'll produce that way, and that way our product stays fresh. Numbers-wise, currently we're still waiting to break even on what we've put out in the bookstore, but that's because we've purchased quite a bit of raw material as it goes. So we're just, the raw materials, I would say we just need to sell probably another 50 bath bombs, and we'll be in the profit side of things. So things are going pretty good.
Question that one of our the class had was, do you intend to go to something like you talk about your next steps, something like a Bed Bath & Beyond and down the road? Is that kind of where your vision is potentially, or are you like, I know that Candace, you talked about the local side, you want to be a local, or are you looking at expanding further, or doing it incrementally with small businesses?
That's actually an interesting question. If you go to Lush, I'm sure many of us in the audience know what Lush is, and then you look at the Body Shop. The Body Shop has quite a lot to offer when it comes to like cosmetics as well. They partnered up with L'Oreal as well, and so they have that cosmetic aspect to them as well when it comes to women, and they have like makeup sections, they have everything. And then when it comes to Lush, they really specialize in bath bombs. So I feel like if you were to answer that question one way or another, we'd kind of be just in the middle of that. So it's not really like we're a competitor, but we kind of have our own twist to thing and our own kind of style. And that kind of stems from our storyline. So it's kind of our own take on how we're going to make our product as we go along. And differentiating, obviously, is going to be something that we're going to be looking at. But right now, we're focusing on our bath bombs and just pushing that. Just also to touch base on what Avi was speaking about earlier about faculty being there for you guys. We have a tremendous staff and faculty at MacEwan who is always willing to help and work with students. So if you guys ever think that you need that help, for us starting in the bookstore, I don't think we would have ever thought about that as something that would actually happen. But for faculty and advisors to actually push that, and for us to actually be in a bookstore, it means a lot. And this is only the groundworks of things, right? And this is how you push and develop more sales into other stores and other locations, whether it be farmers markets or something later on, which we're excited about.
Just want to touch on that Bed Bath & Beyond question. The one constraint about large box stores like that is you need to have a lot of inventory, and you need to produce quite a bit of things. Right now, that's our constraint, is production. We need to show the numbers that this is something that is viable for us to very much continue on in, as from the smaller sales side of things, for investing in production so we can scale our business. Production space is very hard to come by unless you're purchasing or leasing out a specific area that you know that this is going to be just our production space, and then it increases your fixed costs every month, which currently for a business that of our size, it's very hard for us to do as small business owners and entrepreneurs to own a large scale thing, and being students as well. So we would like to see that as a goal, as moving into like Walmart comes in and buys 200 million units and they tell you what the price is. They don't ask what your price is. They're like, okay, we're going to buy this for, $1.25 each. I can't make it for $1.25 right now. So that's where we have to look at the constraints.
Yeah, we are looking into farmers markets for the summer, though, to get like our name really out there and get sales moving too. So
On a lighter note, go big or go home, right? So that's our plan. That is our plan. And also, if you know about Lush, unfortunately, we're not going to do any more advertising for them, but they stole one of our names, so we must have a good product. They actually stole one of our the refresher balm was actually ours before they stole it. So we know that we've upset the man a little bit. So that's good. We like that.
So we have a question about, so as a group, you know, you've had some success, you've come together, you didn't know, how many of you, any of you know each other before Mission Possible?
No.
No, okay. So you've had that year and a half now. Have there been any stresses, falling out, issues that you've had to address, and how did you do that?
So we've been fortunate enough to actually be one of the best teams I've ever worked with. I know we have a lot of projects in business, if you're in business studies or whatever, but we've been really fortunate. Us four, in general, haven't had any problems whatsoever. I think that just comes from mutual respect and consistentness in friendship and in partnership, level of professionalism. We have had a little inconsistencies with one of our partner, but unfortunately that's due to life circumstances, which does happen. And we do wish her the best at this point, but other than that, we have worked collectively really well. It's awesome.
I'd like to add to that as well. Yeah, so as any business owner, you are going to have like those slumps where you feel like something's not going your way, and you got to kind of go over that hump, and that's just a process of learning. And we've all kind of kept an upbeat attitude and kept our professionalism always there. One thing about business is like you can't have emotions override any kind of deliverable that you have to meet. So once you have that level of professionalism and mutual respect for one another, then everything just seems to flow a lot more smoother.
I'll add to that. A big thing that I've learned, I'm kind of the older one in the group that's worked in business outside. So a huge thing is communication. It's all about communication. We communicate all the time. We have our own group chat methods. We're always talking to each other. Someone's always stepping into the bookstore, checking our product out, letting everybody know how it's going. There's always feedback, and we're always discussing. We don't make decisions unless it's a majority rule. I know in partnerships that it has to be a unanimous decision, but we've come up with a different setting in our own little contracts that we have a majority rule of if everybody agrees on something, then we move forward, and no one holds any animosity on that. If it's something that wasn't your thought or didn't agree with you, you just got to let go of thinking that your way was the best way, and we go with the group way, and that's very important. So 100%, it's about communication. You got anything?
the only thing I'd add to that is, I don't know if you guys did this, but back way in the beginning of Business 201, when they split everyone up into groups based on their best strengths and weaknesses, did you guys do that? Yeah? So one thing that we found was pretty interesting was I think there was 4 or 5 groups, but we were all placed in a different group. So I think we each brought a different strength to it, and I think that really helps with the fact that we don't really butt heads that much because we all bring a different strength to the group.
Okay, good. So let's say that you become very successful. You're at $400,000 a year worth of sales. Would something like Dragon's Den be something that you'd be trying to shoot for and get some outside capital to help you grow?
Honestly, I think Dragon's Den's a farce. I've talked and met with Brett Wilson, and I know his kind of his outlook on this. He really didn't like very much of his time on Dragon's Den as it was. So the thing is, the nice thing about Edmonton is there's a thing called Startup Edmonton, and it's really awesome for the fact that if you are a startup in Edmonton, you can join them and go out and see kind of what's going on and what's in the community, but they also get in touch with investors. And it's all about networking and getting to know who's around you. And if you can do that very, very well, you can find investors to come into your business, and either take an equity share, or have common shares within your business and how they want to get their money back. So I don't think taking something to Dragon's Den would be kind of the way we'd want to go. But it's got its time and place for some people, but I don't think it's right for us.
And startup is just around the corner, really. It's just about a block away from here.
Yeah,
Mercer
it's
Tavern.
out of the Mercer's building, and I think they have meetups. Is it like every Tuesday or Tuesday? You can check them out at Startup Edmonton. I know they did a NextUp speak last year, so it was really interesting to see that things like that exist.
So, challenges that you had, difficulties trying to expand your business and keep it going, I guess? Just getting everybody together and because you're all busy.
So challenges that we've had. So while we were in business too, one of the big challenges was like the amount of time we were spending producing things. So in that time, just due to like some of my construction background and things like that, I built a press. I built a press to make our bath bombs. I was like, there's no way that I'm going to hand press, like 2,000 bath bombs in the time that we were doing this. So I built a press. What we're having now is constraints is that our press can't keep up with our production. So now we have to look at an actual commercial size press, or something that is made specifically out of metal or uses pneumatics or something like that. So that's kind of a constraint that we have now. Production space is a challenge that we're facing right now. We are doing it out of our homes, as we are a home-based business, but as things are changing, people are moving, life's progressing, we have to think about how we're going to do this. I know that I was speaking with Enactus about possibly getting some space at school that we could use like after hours or something like that, where the school would be willing to provide us as we're students, so we can get away for the next couple of years with just producing on campus. So that's something that we have to discuss.
I was just going to add to that challenges aspect. Whether you're doing a service or making a product, you are going to encounter challenges. That's just how it is. I mean, with any business, you're gonna be a business owner. You're gonna have problems. But it's when people tell you, I feel like when we were told we couldn't win, or we couldn't, make something out of just bath bombs, because people thought it was silly when we were doing bath bombs, and initially people laughed. But one thing's for sure when it comes to all of us group members is that we kept our beliefs strong, and we made sure that we all had a drive and passion to fully execute on whatever we would do. So just because somebody tells you you can't do something doesn't mean that you can't do it. And that's just cliche, obviously. We've heard that a lot, but it really is true. And I mean, if you could sell a bath bomb, you could be selling anything potentially. So whether you're doing a service or making a product, don't ever fear for what anybody else has to say about your business. If you believe you have that drive, just go with it. Go with your gut.
So I think we'll just kind of wind it down, because I know you've got a couple of questions for giving out the bath bombs. Somebody was wondering where the Chinese takeout boxes came from, because they're pretty awesome. So where did you get those?
We get them from Uline, and they have a company here. So when we can't get products or things for our products locally, we do use Canadian-based companies. So that's the answer to that one.
Okay, good. Okay, final question. Dogs with Wings. Do you still? Have you still kind of? Do you expect to support them in the future, to some degree, or in terms of profitability, or how do you look at giving back in terms of that?
So like a social responsibility, I think we're going to continue on supporting Dogs with Wings. Right now we need to turn a profit and make that corner between just breaking even and moving forward. And once we start retaining some earnings within the business and showing some positive feedback within our books, I think we have to discuss how much we're going to be giving to Dogs with Wings, and what we should be advertising at that time of what we'll be giving to them. But I think it's very important to support something in the city, and especially I think assistive dogs and things like that are very important to people that require them because animal healing is very, very important.
The last comment, the person that asked the question about the Dragon's Den said, Avi, your response was savage fam. So I think that's good, right? So now I'll let you turn it over to you, and if you want to ask those questions that you had for giving out the bath bombs.
All right, so question number 1, and thank you, I am pretty savage at times, which gets me in trouble. So, in which year and semester did Bliss Fizz start their venture? Oh yeah, she got it. She had hands up first. Sorry, guys. Which one would you like?
This is our top seller, so you can do that. That's a 10
Okay. So question number 2.
All right, it's question number 2. Name one key ingredient in all one. Oh my god. In all of our bath bombs. Okay, hand in the back. Yeah, man. Okay, so this is like a super hard question because I didn't mention anything about it. So if you know anything about our business or did your research before coming to class, you'll do great. What is the Bliss Fizz tagline, and why do you think it is that? All right, well, I'll let you know what our tagline is. Our tagline is handmade with love. And the reason we chose this is because it provides kind of like a more interactive feedback from us. It shows that we do put care and time into our business. What position does Candace play within? Oh, here we go. Perfect. And you get the prettiest bath bomb of all.
Okay, great. Okay,
All right.
well, if we have any final questions, you can ask them. I don't know if you'll be around for a couple minutes after, but thanks for Bliss Fizz & Co. today as NextUp.